These items are, to be polite about it, stretches. And let me step back for a moment and say what I'm trying to accomplish. Everybody in this room knows about the economic conditions the country is in, and everybody knows the unemployment rate in the state of Rhode Island, so on and so forth. Things are not good. Therefore, what I'm trying to do is come up with some different approaches. And some of these things will clearly turn out to be, how can I put it, turkeys, I think would be an appropriate term, since we're getting close to Thanksgiving. But I'm throwing them out, and I would urge my fellow council members to do the same thing, because it's clear we can't keep doing business as we've been doing it for the last 20 years. So we're going to have to go out and try some of these things. And some of them will clearly not work, but I offer them out just in the spirit of trying to come up with some new approaches. So that being said, my first one has to do with broadband for the town, which has both economic development and educational implications. And my purpose in asking the Economic Development Commission to look at it is because of the potential economic development aspect of it. And this is a slim chance, it's a long shot, if you will. And it all goes back to the wonderful American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, where there was a lot of money, although it's unclear from my research exactly how much money. You will all be shocked, I'm sure, that the federal government sometimes isn't too clear with their communication. But to give you an order of magnitude, there's a project going on over in Cape Cod where they got $32 million from the federal government. And I'm not saying that that money is available. It could be already spent, I just don't know. But I think it's worth exploring. The second part of this is having to do with what I heard, and I know others of you heard during the campaign, that it would really be good if we could have a small supermarket, a food market. The one regret I have is I used the term whole food, which has a connotation that I really didn't mean. I'm not endorsing the whole food market chain by any means. And I also know from talking to Mr. Schmidt that this item is already on the Economic Development Committee's list of things they're aware of and working on. And I offer the co-op approach, which is a very common approach, particularly on the West Coast and Middle West of America, where a co-op is formed. And I have literature about this also, if anybody in the commission spends some time exploring it. And I would certainly make the paperwork I have available. But again, it's in the hopes of doing something that we can start moving to improvement. And with that, I would make a motion that we decide whether we want to pursue this, and if we don't, then that's the end of the discussion. And I thank you for your time.
Mr. Schmidt? I'd like Len Schmidt, President of the Economic Development Commission. I'd like to just make a comment regarding Mr. Leonard's proposals. These are items that we definitely would be interested in taking under discussion with the Economic Development Commission. But I'd like to go one step further. First of all, to remind everyone here that we have been talking about the grocery store for a long time, and there have been several overtures to get grocery stores in town which have their own issues. To date, we haven't been very successful. Taking another approach, anybody who has ideas, anybody who wants to step forward with some ideas regarding a co-op program, something of that sort, we'd like to hear it. I'd like to open that invitation up to anyone who's interested in getting on the agenda for these subjects.
And I do have some information. I'll give anybody that's interested background information on food co-ops, etc.
I have a question, maybe a focus of your time. In what regard did you envision the town's role in any facet, whether it be ours or the Economic Development Commission? Because there's a lot of discussion about getting a grocery store in town, and there's not a lot of discussion of what getting means. And I have a very uneasy feeling about mixing the roles of the government and the private sector. I'm not sure I understand exactly what the ideas are. I like the idea of I like a supermarket or grocery store, but I want to know exactly what we're asking people to do.
From my standpoint, I'm asking the Economic Development Commission to just explore the topic and publicize it. I'm not asking them or the town to go out and form a cooperative food store. That would not be within.
No, I understand that much.
So if they look at it and think it has some merit, we can then publicize it and maybe get other people that are interested in doing it. It's, if you will, somewhat of a seed project, to just try and get some thinking.
Mr. Schmidt mentioned, I don't know where he is, but
Right here.
Excellent. Sir, Mr. Schmidt. You mentioned that you hadn't had much success in the past in the grocery store idea. What exactly, can you elaborate on that?
Well, what I'm really talking about are the demographics and the proposals that have been brought forward. Facilities that are available, the amount of money it takes to renovate and get something like that started, the issues of funding. Many people have stepped forward, but the banks are looking for somebody to guarantee loans, and this gets to be a little sticky. So it's all the normal economic issues that come forward when you're trying to open business.
So we haven't had any success in finding a user, a supermarket or grocery store user that can make financial heads or tails of locating here, correct?
Well, at this point, we've been
grocery stores are,
that's correct.
Because grocery stores are incredibly costly to set up and fund, and also the margins of profit are incredibly low, right? Is that
dependent upon how it's done.
okay?
I mean, there's grocery stores and there's grocery stores, as Mr. Leonard pointed out. We have to mention the name of something that's kind of generic.
So I'm trying to make the connection in my own mind between something that's economically, or has been so far economically unfeasible, to what we are going to do as a council or an Economic Development Commission to sort of bridge that gap.
That's where the co-op comes in, because the co-op has membership fees, and you don't have to rely entirely on the bank to fund it. That's the beauty of a co-op. That's why they're so popular in many parts of the country. Not particularly around here, but clearly the traditional routes are not working. There is no supermarket here. I think we've all heard stories about some of the surrounding town supermarkets looking and saying, no, we can't make sense out of it. So let's try something different. A co-op is something different. Will it work? I have no idea. But I would appreciate the help of Mr. Schmidt and his group to think it through, toss it around, and come back and give us their opinion. We have no commitment other than getting their opinion.
Okay, and that's all the clarification I wanted. I haven't seen anything that tells me exactly what the possibility is or what we might expect as a result from this, and that's all I was asking for.
Well, the issue is that we have facilities in town that could be suitably adapted. The town itself, though, has some characteristics which make it unusual, I'll put it that way. We're right next to the Massachusetts border. We're a long, narrow strip of land along the ocean. When you start drawing a circle around that and looking at demographics, you run into water. And not too many people come from the water to buy groceries. So all those issues come into play, and basically it's an effort and a process.
I just wanted to sort of separate the idea that we're focusing on these issues in a sort of methodical way, rather than the idea that we are going to bring the grocery store to town. And that's sort of I hear that a lot from a lot of people, and it's I just want to make the line clear. Thank you.
Mr. President, if I may, I believe that the issue is whether or not the council wants to work to make the town more business friendly. That's what's going to bring businesses into town. And demographics notwithstanding, especially in supermarkets, we do have the issue of the close proximity to Fall River, with a lower taxes on goods. So that's going to be an issue bringing someone into town. So we have to offer something that they can't get somewhere else. So I think it behooves the council and the EDC to look at what can the town do to make itself more attractive. And I think those are the issues. What entity comes into town, I don't think really matters. It's a matter of making the town attractive to those types of business.
So, I mean, I don't know if we can, I don't know if it's a separate item, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Economic Development Commission extending that beyond the feasibility or logistics of a cooperative supermarket or cooperative grocery store to a larger group of potential businesses or industries or whatever.
I would not have any objection to that as a separate item, but if we start getting it too big, then we have trouble getting our hands around it. I want to focus on something. In terms of making the town business friendly, there's a relatively short list of things this council can do. We don't control the rate of sales tax, we don't control workers' comp laws, we don't control inventory tax, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are issues that we need to address with our representatives in the General Assembly. It's my intention in the future to have agenda items or E&B to ask our representatives in the General Assembly to really start doing something instead of disappearing upstate for many months and then at the last minute produce something, whatever that something is. But that's a separate issue. So I would like to come back to my proposal. I've got very thick skin, either yay or nay, so we can move on. Mr. Schmidt seems to be inclined to take a look at it, and I appreciate that, but I don't want to continue if my colleagues don't need it.
I guess, you know, the commission is charter charged to do these things in a global sense coherently with the comprehensive plan. So, and not to put the town administrator on the spot, the commission actually reports through your desk, isn't it? So perhaps at a future time we could revisit this.
Let me intervene quickly and say that that's true. However, the council has ultimate policy-making policy. We can suggest and give guidance to the town administrator. So we're
Agree completely, but what I'm wondering is if at another time we could address Mr. Pelletier's concerns and hear more about what they've been doing globally, so it doesn't look like we're picking a grocery store and not a ski shop, or you know. And I have a feeling that you have a lot to say about that.
Well, just a quick comment, not to belabor this, but the Economic Commission has been working from all angles, even to the point where they're trying to work with owners of empty buildings to try to assist in providing whatever mechanism that we can add to attract business. You know, we're not just looking for business period, we're looking to work with, and I think, you know, that Mr. Schmidt will bear that out. We're looking to work with the owners of these empty buildings to try to work with them and what can we do to help type situation attract business.
I don't think we need anything any more formal than that. I think the sense of this meeting is, and the sense of this group is, we'll do whatever we can within reason to attract some business to this community, including a grocery store if possible. The next item was a new business submitted.
I take that.
Well, I take it to mean that we don't really need anything formal. We don't need a formal motion. It would be hard to imagine that anybody is opposed to some sort of economic development in this town. It's exactly what we need, and I'm sure nobody would oppose the Economic Development Committee continuing their work to attract a grocery store.
I will pass the information I've gathered on to Mr. Schmidt.
Great. Okay, great, thank you.